Hello viewers at home, I'm Simon Adeniji. This is the maiden edition of AGRI-PRENEUR on ITV Independence Television Abuja. This program has been set aside to take you through the journey and the periphery of agriculture. That is the entrepreneurship aspect of agriculture, talking of the cash crops, the animal husbandry, the livestock production, the byproducts of all these products that we see, and the food chain, the value chain of every agri-produce that we bring to the program. We'll talk about how to get them, where to get them, what to do when you want to get them, and the way to go about everything. This is just a way of putting, most especially our youths, at work, and every other person that has the little time and resources to venture into the entrepreneurship aspect of the agric. They say food for the nation. We should try and lay our hands on some things that is productive and can really push us forward as a nation. So today I will just talk briefly on cow. That is cattle rearing. So cattle rearing is our topic, and we'll be dishing it out from the start to the end. We'll touch every nooks and cranny of cattle rearing. We are targeting at making you understand some terminologies, the processing aspects, what the byproducts are used for, and lots more. Those are the things that you should be expecting to see and watch on this program. So today we'll look at the main aspect of what we know as cattle rearing. We'll be touching the breeds. That's the type of breeds of cattle that we have. And we'll of course talk of the common terminologies that we use when we are describing and talking of cattle rearing. So now let's basically look at the common terminologies that we use as farmers, as professionals, because we'll be later on this program we'll be using some of those terminologies in place of the common languages that we know, so that our viewers at home can follow us and you won't get lost. Now I will try to group them into two types. That is the terms that we use for the male cows or cattle, and the terms that we use for the female cows or cattle. Generally, we know that the first thing we know that a group of cow is called cattle. That is when the number is more than one. When you have 1, 2, 3 cows gathering in a place, you say that is a herd of cattle. So that is number one term. Then the male term now, they are categorized into two: the active male and the inactive male. What I mean by the active male are the ones that are still intact, that can still produce, that can give forth offspring. So those cows are called bull. Those are the ones we refer to as bull, regardless of the breed, regardless of the species, regardless of the family or any class that it belongs to. The active male that can produce are called bulls. Then the inactive males, now those are the ones that cannot produce, maybe because of one reason or the other. Maybe they have been castrated for experiments, for species keeping, for farm work, or for fattening, or any of the reasons they might have been castrated. So they are referred to as steer. So the word is derived from the word being sterile. We know that whatever is sterile means inactive, it cannot produce. So those cows that you see, the ones you see that are castrated, either for fattening or for farm work, you refer to them as steer. Okay, now, so basically that is what we'll be looking at from the male aspect. Then generally we know that baby cow is referred to as a calf. So that is the general term, maybe female or male, whatever sex the baby cow is, you refer to them as a calf. Now let's move down to the female terminologies of cows and cattle rearing. An active female, that is the ones that has been given birth or that has at least birthed once, you refer to them as a cow. Those are the actual ones that we refer to as a cow. We know that it is a general word and a common language in the community to say this is a cow, but a cow actually in the real term is referring to a mother, a cow that has given birth at least once. Those are the ones you refer to as a cow. And the ones that are yet to give birth, a virgin cow is referred to as an heifer. That is another term that you need to know. A cow that has not even given birth to any offspring, not even once, is referred to as an heifer. So once the cow drops the first offspring, it's no longer an heifer, it becomes a cow. That is when it becomes a cow. So, and going forward, we know that different types of different parts of cattle parts has their name, what we call them. We have the bacon, the flesh, the hung, that is the back. Most especially in males. Some males have hunks. The dewlap is what seems to be dropping down from the neck region towards the ground. So the length depends on the kind of cow and the breed that you have. And of course, we all know that cows have horn, either male or female, in most species. They have the hoof, that is what serves like their own kind of shoe that they match the floor with. So there is a tail, then the wisp, that is the extreme end of the cattle tail. So there is referred to as a wisp. We have all those terminologies, and those are the things that we will be using going forward on the program. So basically now let's look at the type of the breeds, cattle or cow breeds that we have. We'll start from the diaspora, that is the outside world. We'll look at some of the breeds and what they are used for. And those breeds, for better understanding, I would like to classify them into meat breeds and milk breeds. What do I mean by meat breeds? It's basically the kind of breeds that you can keep if your target is to be producing for meat purpose. That is, you want to go into the aspects of the bacon, meat production, for every other, any type of purposes that cattle meat is being used for. There are some specific breeds that are known to be meat breeds because of their rate of conversion, the rate at which they convert the feed intake into flesh. So, and the other ones that are that I would like to call milk breeds in the general term is the dairy cows. The dairy cows are the ones that made it possible for us to have all sorts of kind of milk that we take in the market today, because basically cow has been known to be the main source of milk and cheese and some other byproducts that we have in the market. So I would like to classify them and term them as the dairy cows. Now let's look at some of the cows that we have and the characteristics, little characteristics of how those cows came to be and the name. So then later on we'll come home to our country to look at the types of cows that we have and the way they are being treated and taken care of. Okay, sit back and watch this short illustrative video on the cattle breeds that we have in the diaspora. Thank you.
So really in the US, there's only 6, arguably maybe 7 major breeds that we milk on a regular basis. And we are going to look at 10 different breeds here. So the other 3 or 4 are basically less common, definitely not used as much in the dairy industry, but still important for one reason or another. So we're going to talk about one right away that you may have never heard of before. So number 21 is the American Milking Devon. And this breed really isn't used much anymore. However, it was absolutely probably the most important animal to early people living in the United States. The Pilgrims first brought this breed over back in the 1700s, and they were used for milk and meat and as draft animals. So with number 22, we're going to get into one of those 6 most common breeds that we do have, and that is the Ayrshire. So the Ayrshire is a Scottish breed. It's a red and white color, and they are a little bit tough to tell apart sometimes from red and white Holsteins. So part of the way that I like to do that is I notice that their spots always kind of have jagged edges, and that's one way that you can tell them apart. Their color is also a little bit more of a yellowy red. And their milk is referred to as the ideal drinking milk. So for that fluid milk market, it's perfect. It's got a moderate amount of butter fat and really high protein. Another one of the major dairy breeds in the U.S. is the Brown Swiss. And these guys are from the Swiss Alps. So because of that, they thrive at high elevations and they're really resistant to extreme temperatures. This is the oldest of all the dairy breeds, and some people think it dates back as far as 4000 BC. They have the ideal milk for cheese because it has the perfect fat to protein ratio. They're this grayish brown to tan color, and they have a dark nose with a white muzzle surrounding it. So that's one of the ways that you can pick them out. Otherwise, they can look similar to some of the Jerseys and the Guernsey cows. So these guys are known for having a pretty docile temperament and being really inquisitive and curious. So the Shorthorn, and here we call it the dairy Shorthorn, it is really the same breed, although depending on whether you wanted to keep a herd for beef or for dairy, you would probably try to breed for certain characteristics. So just like the beef Shorthorn, they come in red and white, or roan, and this is a medium-sized cow. They were originally dual purpose, and in 1958, these guys officially became a different breed from the beef variety of Shorthorn. They're easy to breed. They produce smaller calves than most cows, and that really leads to fewer complications because there's less to get kind of stuck in the birth canal. The next one that we're going to see is the Dutch Belted. Sometimes this is called a Lockenvelder, and that literally means that there is a white cloth draped over their body, and that's what Lockenvelder translates to. So these guys might look real similar to those belted Galloways that we saw with our beef breeds, and they come in the same colors. They're either black or brown as a base coat with that white belt down the middle. Next on our list is the Guernsey, which is named for an island that is one of the Channel Islands in between the coast of France and England in the English Channel. They are this fawn or reddish blonde color and white, and usually have patches on their body, but you notice they're much lighter, tannish yellow in comparison to the Ayrshires. Guernseys are known for being extremely feed efficient, and they need 20 to 30% less feed than other breeds to produce the same amount of milk. They reach reproductive maturity earlier, they have a higher heat tolerance, and they're known for a rich yellow-colored milk that's really high in beta-carotene.
Welcome back. Those are the types of cattle breeds that we have. Those are the ones in the diaspora that you have seen so far. And I'm coming home now. I will do some basic explanation of the ones we have around in this part of the world. That is our country. We have the Bokolo type. A Bokolo cow is generally known for meat production. They are the giant cow that you see in markets. They come in different colors. It could be white, it could be brown. It's hardly you see a black Bokolo cow if it is not mixed, maybe for any reason or purpose. Now, the Bokolo is known to have great height, and they are muscular. They are kind of muscular. They grow big with time, and they are one of the giant cows that we like to keep if you are targeting meat production. And the other one is when you're talking of the milk production, you look at Yekene. So the Yekene breed, they have horns. They are horned breed cow. The Bokolo doesn't have horn. Like a full breed of Bokolo naturally does not have horn. You barely see something to hold, even if you try to hold them. That is one way whereby you can identify Bokolo, a complete breed of Bokolo. Then the Yekene now is one of the milk cows that we know, the dairy cows that we know. They give birth often, they are good mothers, and they cater for their offspring very well. And at the other hand again, they have big udder. So the udder is a cow breast, so it means that they can contain more milk for consumption, we can milk them after birth, or if they are placed on certain feed and some medication is being applied. So the Ekene breed is good for meat and for breeding purpose. In terms of what I mean by breeding is, if you are looking at just getting your farm set up, you get a breeder's cow. Ekene is one of the recommended cow you can look into when you're looking for a breeder cow. That is cows that will give birth. You nurse them, maybe you nurse the calf a little, then you push them to market, to people that will further take care of them. So Ekene is one of the breeds that you can look into. So the other ones we have in the diaspora, like the previous video you've seen, the Angus, it comes red and black. Basically, there's no different aside from the color. Every other thing is uniform. So they are one of the good breeds in the outside world that people keep too. We have few here in our country, not so much, but there are few in some areas in this part of the country that people can also go for, and they are known to be good cow for meat production. And another cow that you might want to look into is Baraje. The Baraje is another cow, mostly comes in deep brown. So the Baraje cow comes in deep brown color, thick skin. They have horn, relatively big, but not as big as the Kuri. There's another breed, Kuri. I'll speak probably on that. So not as big as the Kuri type, but they have horn. They are known to be big cows. They have big body, and most of them are good mothers. They are good in taking care of their offspring, and you might want to keep them as either milk cow or breeder. They are good breeders, and they give birth often, not unlike some other cows. And the fact that they don't have much of those fats is what actually helps them to produce often. Basically, a cow gives birth once in a year, which means every year you are expecting a calf in addition to your flock on the farm. So, and in rare cases, some cows might give birth to 2. It is not common, but it happens. So those are the other things that you might want to know, talking of the cows. Let's look at the other parts of the breeds of cows that we have in the diaspora.
Probably the most important breed on our list is the Holstein Friesian. These are usually just called Holsteins. Holstein refers to stock that is bred in North America, and that Friesian ending is more commonly used when we're talking about European stock instead. They are Dutch and German in origin. They came from the Friesland area, and they're black and white, typically in that recognizable piebald pattern. They're also much larger than other breeds. These guys are the #1 breed of dairy in the U.S., and they also provide a lot of our beef and our veal. They have a fairly low productive life. They typically only are kept until they are about 6 years. And they have low butter fat and low protein content, so not the highest quality milk. However, they produce way more milk per year than any other breed, and that's why they are the backbone of our dairy industry at this point. Another very popular breed is the Jersey. Jerseys are much smaller cows, and you can say they come mostly in this light tannish fawn color, although they can get even up to like a dark brown color. And some of them have quite a bit of gold in their coat. They are also named after one of the Channel Islands, the island of Jersey, in between England and France. And they have a black nose with white surrounding the muzzle and white surrounding their eyes. They have a dark tongue, and they have a dark switch at the end of their tail. They can easily be confused with the brown Swiss, but they are much, much smaller, more delicate looking cows overall. They also produce less milk overall than any other breed. However, they're really efficient, so they produce more milk for the cost of feeding the Jersey since they eat a lot less. Their milk is also nutritionally superior to other milk. It has 18% more protein, 20% more calcium, 25% more butterfat than the average milk.
That is how far we can go today on the program Agri-PRENEUR on ITV Abuja. I am Simon Adeniji. Don't forget to tune in same time, same station next week. Bye.